What is up, what is down, love is all around. This is GG Your Face, and now I'll be talking about a game between MaDFroG and Naama. MaDFroG is playing as the red Zerg on the upper right hand corner, and we just see the Zerg extractor trick where he puts a drone on the extractors and cancel it, allowing him to have the 11th population for a couple of seconds before his overlord spawns. And Naama is playing as the blue Terran on the lower left hand corner, and the game is played on Xel'Naga Caverns, and this is a very popular map for many players, as a lot of the matches I've been watching recently have been on it, as well as Scrap Station, and not so much on Lost Temple, especially for the Zerg versus Terran matchup, because I think a lot of Zergs don't like Lost Temple because of the ledges right over the natural expansion, making it very easy for tanks, stores, drops to take place, and it's very difficult to defend. We do see one refinery as well as one drone is being produced at the moment. This one drone is going to come across and check out what's inside the base. Barracks has just recently got him, as well as the spawning pool for MaDFroG. This drone will be able to come inside, and I think he's going to try to harass this SCV. This SCV is actually trying to decide if he wants to build a building. It looked like he was just moving around very erratically, not like he's actually trying to build. I think he was trying to decide if he wants to pull it off or not pull off, and that's going to cost him an SCV. MaDFroG did manage to pick off one SCV. The other SCV is not going to give chase to that drone. A slight advantage, a slight psychological advantage as well. Two overlords positioned very well outside two of the chokes, but on this map there is one set of destructible rocks here, and there's also a hidden choke. Well, not so much a hidden choke, but a fourth choke point that many players do forget about or sometimes don't defend. And this drone is going to come inside and grab the extractor as well. A lot of Zerg players do like to grab the extractor from the Terran or Protoss player because that does limit the option a little bit, or at least delay the timing of a lot of the build orders. And by having that there, if your opponent is going to tech up and not have too many units, or maybe just have one Marine or not one Marine at all, it's going to force him to build that one Marine or spend a couple of extra seconds taking down that refinery or the extractor. And one extractor is going up, as well as the hatchery has gone up for MaDFroG right outside the natural expansion, and we do see the factory as well as a reactor is being placed down by Naama. One person asked what I was doing during the weekend because I didn't make any videos. Usually I do put up videos on the weekend. I was actually playing Civilization 5, and for some reason you can't save in Civilization 5. Orbital Command is going down for Naama, and because you can't save and the games are pretty long and epic, like 5-6 hours, we were about 4 or 5 hours into it, and I didn't want to quit, so we decided to just leave the computers on with the game on LAN. So yeah, and I couldn't run Starcraft 2 very well. I tried to do some games and it kept on crashing. I don't know how many of you guys have trouble with the Starcraft 2 repair tool and the constant error reporter. I really hate that. And we do see one Zergling is going to be able to scout out that one Hellion, as well as this switch by Naama. Very nice sacrificial Zergling there. Will give him enough time to put down a Roach Warren as well as the Spine Crawler, the perfect response to Hellion harass, and I think he's gonna make double Hellions, and he is Hellions double time. This one Marine still working on the extractor in the back. If you haven't tried Civilization, I suggest you give it a try, because Civilization is a pretty fun game. It's turn-based, but there is infinite time to micro up, and microing up is too much fun, and I think I have too much fun in that game, and it's a little bit taken over my life as well as the life of my very best friend. We did play that for quite a bit, and we do see a couple of Hellions running across the map. If they can get into the back of the mineral patch and roast the drones, it might be very difficult for MaDFroG to come back from that deficit, but this Queen does get out and distract the Hellions just sufficiently. A couple of Roaches are on the way, as well as one Banshee for Naama. I think he really needs a couple of more Queens to deal with the Banshees, but I don't think he actually knows that a Banshee is coming, as he only saw the very top of the ramp of Naama. And MaDFroG is going to build more Queens. He currently has 2 Queens, I believe, and he's making one more Queen or 2 more Queens? One more Queen. Couple of Hellions running around to the back. Even though these Roaches think the Hellions have retreated, they're actually running to the back. And the second refinery is going up for Naama at the moment, and these Roaches are going to run across the map, and these Hellions are coming into the back, and the Banshee is going to come out and probably shoot at those Roaches. These Hellions come out, does get one kill, does get a second kill, and this Banshee is going to see these Roaches and take a couple of shots at it. I think this will force MaDFroG to send his Roaches in, because he's pretty much committed to getting shot at for at least 50% of the map. And these Hellions are going to have to pull back a little bit from those Queens. I believe one roach went down, and these roaches are going to try to take down this reactor before they die. And I think he should pull some SCVs. He does pull some SCVs to repair, and he also throws down a meal to prevent those roaches from coming in. But there aren't any Zerglings, so there's not too much of a problem for these units. He actually overreacted just slightly there. A couple of queens, 4 queens on the field for MaDFroG, as well as a couple of roaches. And that reactor is currently being rebuilt, as well as a command center on the side. Repositioning the spine crawl, always a good idea. Put it toward the back where the Hellions are very, very easily to get around. And these roaches are going to come in and try to prevent the Hellions from harassing, but they do toast 3 drones, and these Banshees aren't in great position, and one of them did get taken down by those 4 queens, and this one's going to try to run away, and as long as he runs off the creep, he should be able to run away from those queens. Guild Reconstitution is being researched by MaDFroG to increase the speed of those roaches, and we do see an armory coming up. Hopefully we'll see some Thor. Thors are always fun to watch. Additional Banshees being produced at the moment by Naama. And if we take a look at the income tab, both players about even though MaDFroG is ahead in minerals and Naama is ahead in gas, as we would expect. I think MaDFroG is very, very low on minerals, as he does have a lot. He does have a lot of minerals, but he doesn't have a lot of gas because he's also forced to get that Overseer. But I don't believe that the Starport actually researched Cloak. No, so Naama doesn't actually have Cloak. He is actually forcing the Zerg player MaDFroG to get that Overseer just by having Banshees. One Baneling's Nest coming up for MaDFroG at the moment, as these refineries are not filled up. I think he's actually too busy doing something else. Both these extractors are up, but nothing is inside of them. It's very surprising to see 4 extractors versus 3 refineries, and the refineries are actually getting more gas. Additional barracks, as well as a Thor and a siege tech coming up for Naama, and MaDFroG is actually going to be trying to take down these rocks, and he's thinking about grabbing that expansion that just went down. A couple of Banshees are coming around the back. We'll be able to get a couple of kills. I think there's only 10 kills on one and 1 kill on the other. I think that was an older Banshee. I think he got around 5-6 drone kills here, but I think he's going to lose that when he tries to fly it away, and this Queen is going to come around, and 1 shot, 2 shot, and he does manage to take it down. A second hatchery going up inside the base, as well as outside the natural expansion of MaDFroG, and a 3rd base. Wow, there is 5 hatcheries on 2 bases. I like this play. A lot of drones and Zerglings currently being spawned by those queens. Constant ejections, constant creep spread. Metabolic boost is finally going up, as well as a Spire. Terran infantry attack weapon level 1, and the tank is coming out, as well as additional reactors. So both players gearing for the battle that is to come. These roaches did want to attack, but when they saw that Thor and when they saw that tank with those Marines, they actually decided to move back. Stem pack has just begun, as well as medevacs and additional marauders. I think we're going to see a very, very nice, healthy mix of units. A lot of buildings. There is 5 barracks, and there is 1 factory and 1 starport, but the starport is attached to a reactor, so he will be able to pump that medevac double time. Centrifugal hook has been started, as well as the combat shield for the Marines and stem pack. I believe I mentioned the stem pack. And the Zerg player is going to be able to try to grab his 3rd base, and Naama is building a barracks on the side. This is a very good idea to ward off any side attacks, as these Zerglings are actually coming around the back. So Naama, I think he's reading the mind of MaDFroG a little bit, knowing what's going to happen before it happens. A couple of mutas is about to pop all of these hatcheries. And we see a nice sizable force for the Terran player, sieging up directly outside his natural expansion. Also will prevent those units from running up the ramp most of the time. This barracks, why is it lifting off? Why would you build it there and lift it off? Oh, he actually maybe misplaced the positioning of it, and he does put it into place. And a couple of Banelings morphing in from the side. They won't be able to do too much, though, because I think this barracks is in the way. We'll be able to force him to do something else. And we do see a drop by Naama, and the drones were moved, but he does manage to take down 1 extractor. A couple of Mutalisk as well as Roaches were able to deter that drop, and they're going to try to take down this one Overlord. Is he going to be... No, he's not going to be supply block. These Mutalisks are target firing. Those Marines will be able to take down any resistance, and this Mutalisk is very, very low on HP, but he does manage to take down the MaDFroG, the Marines, and I think 1 or 2 Marauders there. Very, very good harass by Naama so far, but a little bit microing on those harass, so they were not as effective as they would have liked. A couple of Bailings running across the map. Ooh, will he catch it? Will he catch a glimpse of these Bailings? I don't think he will. And MaDFroG is going to come in here, and there's one MaDFroG. There's absolutely nothing to defend. There's a couple of Bailings coming in. This could be terrible damage for these SCVs. And we do see about half the SCVs go down. Another, wow, just SCV. And these Zerglings are going to clean up a lot of the SCVs. I think about 70-80% of those SCVs are going down. And these Zerglings, ooh, on A attack, actually shooting those because actually trying to defend this base. Those Zerglings were A attack, so they didn't attack those SCVs because those SCVs were just standing there, whereas the Marines and MaDFroGs were actually shooting them back. And at the same time, Naama is going to push back because he does have the siege tank, and he's put up a sensor tower, so he knows the movements of the Zerg player, and the Zerg is thinking about expanding to another base because he really wants to get that third base. A couple of Roaches coming into the side, but not really wanting to engage. But I think MaDFroG knows that there's a couple of siege tanks siege there, especially with the sensor tower. Sensor towers are rather expensive, but they also give you the information you want most of the time. Still on 4 hatchery, the 5th hatchery coming up on the side. Bunch of Marines and Marauders currently being produced. These Marines are at 1-0, the vehicles are at 0-0, and we see a battle on the side. I think he might be thinking of skipping this defense entirely, or no, he's not. Yes, he is. He's going to go in right for the base, and he's going to try to take down some SCVs. Once again, the Zerglings are running up the ramp, and these ramps are not closed. And a bunch of splash damage by the Bailings. These Zerglings are inside the base, and these Roaches are going to have to force a retreat with those Mutalisks. And wow, we see a lot of kills by these Zerglings on the main of Naama. What a nice counter attack by MaDFroG, forcing him to leave the sensor tower undefended or lose a lot of SCVs. And there's a lot of Zerglings still inside, but these forces should be able to clean up no problem. And if we take a look at the unit count, 27 SCVs versus 70 drones, a huge harassment by MaDFroG. Very, very well played there. And if we take a look at the income tab, it's slightly in favor in terms of minerals, about 400 or 500 a head, as well as about 300 a head in gas. And I think the Terran player is hurting a little bit. He really needs to focus on grabbing an additional expansion, I think. And these Roaches are going to maybe engage these prematurely stemmed Marines and Marauders. I think he's thinking about going on the side. A couple of investors as well as Bailings being